You see this shirt here? I've been seen wearing it in several of my videos. You probably took from that I must be a PlayStation boy. Well, you're not wrong, but here's the thing. I never chose to be a PlayStation boy. PlayStation chose me. Okay, you're probably wondering, what on earth am I talking about? You see, I am a gamer of all over, so no matter what brand or genre, I can hold an SNES and a Mega Drive in each hand and say I love them both, because I think there's something special and of value in all of it. Except these. I don't like these. It's funny, because I started off as just a Nintendo kid. I got a DS for my 10th birthday, and I still have the original bag and receipt. 2009 feels so long ago. And a year later, my family would get a Wii. And 3 years later, I would become a bully target because unlike the normal people in my class who were picking up Xbox Ones and PS4s, I chose to buy a Wii U. Oh, the shame! Isn't this why we buy consoles to begin with? So we can play the games for it? Duh! And I wanted Super Mario 3D World, and let's be honest, the Wii U is by far one of my most used consoles anyway. But we ain't here to talk about you, we're here to talk about PlayStation. So I have a lot of PlayStation systems, but the weird part is how I acquired them. Most people save up for months waiting for these things to drop in stores, or in the case of the PS5, still waiting for one to become available because you've been waiting a year since they came out, and somehow every time Somewhere You Go has the stock, by the time you get there, it's already been snatched up. Me, however? No, I've had most of this stuff kinda dropped on me without me having so much as the slightest intention of getting them at that point in time. Yeah, I'm serious. And maybe now it's time I share that. So as stated earlier, I only had Nintendo stuff for quite a while. DS, Wii, 3DS, and Wii U, but in 2014 I would acquire a PS3. Super slim to be precise. You see, at some point, my grandmother got me this game called Harry Potter and the Book of Spells. I like Harry Potter, I like unnecessary gimmicky motion controls, and I like video games. What can I say, my grandmother knows me well. But there was one problem. It was exclusively for PS3, as it took advantage of both the PlayStation Move controller and the PSI camera. You know, the one that always fell down, because no matter how you position it, somehow the cable would pull it down. Hey, stop that! And at the time, my only console was a Wii, and sadly I had to inform her I was grateful for the game, but I wouldn't be able to use it. So what did she do? At some point later, she bought a PS3, so I could use it to play the game whenever I came to see her. Which worked out well, and trust me, I did use it. Strictly for that game, of course. Which I did complete, and I even finished all the Harry Potter books as well. But by 2014, it had barely been used, and one day she said, "Why don't you just have this?" So I did. I took it home along with 2 controllers, one was blue, the Book of Spells, and it also had Driver San Francisco and Uncharted. I guess it must have been a bundle. And just like that, I had a PS3, and believe it or not, directly contributed to me becoming a Sonic fan, as exploring the PlayStation Store introduced me to the trial version of Sonic CD. Wait, Amy was a hedgehog and not a cat the whole time? And later on, I would get the full game, Sonic Adventure, and Sonic Generations. Games I wouldn't have had access to before, and what would solidify me as a fan for life. But if only I had known there was already a PlayStation in my house. While going through some boxes, I found a PS1 and a stack of games. So, turns out my parents were gifted this as a wedding gift, and have had it since before I was even born. It's just existed, hidden in our households my entire life, and I didn't even start playing video games until I turned 10. Well, looks like now I have an excuse to try Rayman and Final Fantasy VII, but it didn't come with any controllers, meaning I couldn't play. Guess I could still enjoy watching the title screens on loop. Later on, I would tell a classmate about it who told me, "Oh yeah, I have some. I don't use it. You can just have them." And the next day when I see him, he just hands me an entire PS1. Without controllers, so now I just kind of have 2 of them, still with no way to play. Although soon enough my cousin would get me third-party PS2 controllers, and finally I had access to this small library of PS1 classics and Rascal, but little did I know years later I would find out these were all copies, as they were standard CDs and real PlayStation discs were black. I should have been tipped off by the average CD cases and paper covers. So I guess I don't regret destroying Rascal now. Oh, who am I kidding? I never regretted it. As for the PS2, it's a much less interesting story. I saw one for $20 at an op shop in 2016. Although, technically, I didn't bring my wallet and my mum paid for it. And I earned the amount back in house chores, so I guess it kinda counts with the other stories. On a technicality, I didn't have memory cards until later, but, actually, no, I don't got any more on the PS2. It has a Kingdom Hearts and Budokai, also when you turn it on. PS4. Oh, PS4. In 2017, when someone I knew bought a Sony smartphone, there was also included a card that was an entry to win a PS4 Slim, and surprise, surprise, he actually won it. But he already had a PS4, so he gave this to me. I was so excited, I made an unboxing video. I guess I was just happy to have one. I was several years late to the PS4 party by 2017, although getting this in February of that year, I would not actually get any games for it until that November. I'm not joking, up to that point, through 2017, my family members used it as a Netflix machine, and I only played free downloads from monthly PS Plus. Also, briefly borrowed copies of Yooka-Laylee and Mighty Number 9. The first game I would actually pick up for it in November was Sonic Forces. But I'm sure you already know my experiences and feelings with that. Since then, I've enjoyed my time with the PS4, getting to experience such games as Crash and Sane Trilogy, Insomniac's Spider-Man, which is hands down one of my favorite games of all time now. You probably couldn't tell, but I'm something of a spider guy myself. If I'm gonna be honest, when I'm not crawling on walls and creeping people out, I think I may be an addict to Insomniac's Spider-Man. Also, don't forget the hyphen. The hyphen is important. Now, this script up to this point was written in February, and I'd like to tell you something significant. While writing the script, Melbourne was in a fierce thunderstorm, and I was playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot while complaining about the Uber Eats app. I ordered a chicken burger and a hash brown from McDonald's, but after confirming, the order removed the burger, and I couldn't cancel it. It just wouldn't let me. Meanwhile, Goku had just arrived on planet Namek, and was on his way to save Krillin and Gohan when... The house shook like I'd never felt before. The power went out, and the only things in the house that still had power were the microwave and the Wii U. When the power came back, the damage had been done. A kitchen light had burst, both the Wi-Fi router and the TV that came with my Wii in 2010 were both dead. But the Wii U tanked through and was still working fine. What a Chad. But that's a story for another video. The PS4 was absolutely flooded. It powered on, but could not connect to controllers nor send a signal to the TV, and booting into safe mode didn't help either. I called PlayStation customer support and even took it to someone who specialized in repairing consoles and confirmed the chips on the motherboard had been fried, so that's it. The PS4 is screwed. For good. Thankfully, our house was covered by insurance, but that was a long and tedious process that took months and months to get anywhere with. The plan was to replace the PS4 with a refurbished one once we were paid back, but something else happened instead. Fast forward to present day in July, I was on Twitter when a retweet caught my attention. EB Games had pre-orders for the next limited stock of PS5s. And if you were wondering why that's such a big deal, the PS5 has been out since November 2020 and is still basically impossible to find anywhere, so yeah. Without hesitation, I rushed to the EB Games site where it had two options, a PS5 bundled with 2 controllers, and a somewhat more expensive PS5 bundled with a digital copy of Horizon Forbidden West. I clicked on the first one, and before the page could load, it had already been delisted. So I went for the second option and put down a deposit, and it worked! I had a PS5 waiting for me, and it was probably a good thing I picked the second option because I was too dumb to notice the first one was cheaper because it was a digital-only console, which I honestly forgot was a thing. What a close call. A week later, I got a text saying it had arrived, and I went to pick it up. The lady behind the counter passed me the box, which was too big to fit in a bag because holy crap, this thing was big and heavy. One of my mates told me he almost got mugged walking his PS5 to his car. But sure enough, I got home and... Damn, boy, you're thick! This thing is massive! I got no words. I'm speechless. Like I did assume, like, eventually down the line, like a couple years in, when, like, I wouldn't be able to get what I wanted on the 4, but here it is! A PS5! I own a PS5! You're joking. Really? Like, usually when I do an unboxing video like this, I have the thing on, like, a table or something, but here I am, in frame. Power supply, just like every other PlayStation. Ooh! Hello! Yeah, I'm not even gonna hesitate. I like it. Charging cable. Ooh, that's the most highest quality HDMI cable I've ever held. I have no idea what this could be. I still have no idea what this... Oh, hang on, it's a stand. Because all the PlayStations have to be vertical. Are you kidding me? Is this the thing's actual width? Oh my... Don't be shy, say hello to the camera. And you're already covered in... What? Already covered in dust and stuff. No, that's bits of the packaging. Weird. Say hello to the PS5. Hello! Okay, I guess this is a console. And it weighs like 5 bricks. And I thought my original Xbox was big. Oh my god, I own a PS5 now, and I already had games for it. Aside from the pre-installed Astro's Playroom, I had a digital code for Horizon Forbidden West, and 2 of my PS4 games, Miles Morales and Guardians of the Galaxy, were PS4 games that were PS5 upgradable. Hey, you could learn a lesson from that, Nintendo. Speaking of, Nintendo gave me a brand new Wii U earlier that week, but that's a story for another video. And that is the story, or stories, behind all my PlayStations and how most of them I ended up with somehow for free. And when I started the script, I had no idea I'd have to stop writing it for several months until the PS4 stuff was resolved, nor did I have any idea by the end of it I'd be a proud owner of a PS5. That one I did pay for my own money, so I guess it doesn't count. Although, the PS5 was a replacement for the damaged PS4, and the insurance are covering our replacement things. So again, with all technicalities, they're paying to replace my PS4? I guess you could say I just paid for Horizon. Huzzah! I unfairly got all generations of PlayStation for free! I shouldn't be bragging, but you gotta admit, I got a really good story out of this. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned, and stay awesome.